For some reason, well, in our society, it's not surprising, we have been programmed and trained to think that working more and staying late and overachieving is the ideal outcome in life. It's the so-called American dream. And it puts all this pressure on us to work harder, not smarter, work more in terms of success metrics versus doing activities that give you the outcome in an efficient way where you can also nourish your body, your mind, and your spirit and live a more full, robust, and happy life. Welcome to Inspiration Contagion, where we spread inspiration one story at a time. I am your host, Holly Jean Jackson. Each interview spotlights transformational business leaders, their stories, challenges, and advice for how you too can lead yourself and others through inspiration. Learn how you too can achieve peak performance, build more revenue, and lead the legacy you were meant to lead. Let's talk about invisible burnout. And oh my God, what a juicy topic. We have all been there, us high achievers, perfectionism seekers, type A individuals who have this big vision, this bold thing that they want to create in the world. And yet, so many of us high achievers miss all of the warning signs until it's too late. So let's find some ways to prevent the total burnout and start catching the signs for when we know we're not in our zone of genius and we need a little bit more time for nurturing, restoration, and all the things. But before we go there, I want to just remind you, I hear you, I see you, and you might think you have it all together. But on the inside, if you actually stop and sit with yourself for a minute, you feel secretly fried, completely at the end of your rope, completely exhausted, overwhelmed, and you feel like you're juggling a million glass balls in the air. If you're feeling this way, this episode is for you. You are not alone. I have even had my moments of getting there. But I will tell you, there are ways to catch this much sooner before you're in total burnout, total exhaustion, and total overwhelm. So the first step is awareness. And I have found that when I am consistent with my meditation and daily routine practices of a body scan, quieting my mind, journaling, and all the things, it's very difficult for me to get to a state of total burnout and exhaustion. Because I'm more present, I'm more aware of what I need, and I can catch when I'm starting to trend in a negative direction instead of a positive trajectory. So having moments of stillness, having check-ins with your body, whether it's a morning routine, an evening routine, a checklist on your fridge, is super important. Because for changing anything, the first step is awareness. And as soon as we can become aware of our stress levels, the sooner we can actually fix that pain point and that problem and get out of stress, overwhelm, and all those negative hormones in our body that ultimately create inflammation and illness and burnout. Another way I can notice that I'm getting into stress, overwhelm, and burnout is when I begin to feel more irritated. I might have more road rage. I might be less patient. I might let small things blow up into a big volcano. I can feel my anxiety is more present. For me, that means starting to pick at my hands. It might be obsessive thinking. It might be spiraling thinking. So once you become aware, I want you to journal and reflect and observe yourself. And what are some of the habitual patterns and habitual activities that you lean on that are just part of your natural habits that happen when you're starting to trend towards burnout? What does stress and anxiety look like for you? What activities and behaviors do you exhibit when you're in high stress, high anxiety, high irritability, high anger? And journal and reflect on that because it will help you notice when you're trending in that direction. So once we have awareness, once we know what the trend looks like, how do we stop cycling and spiraling into invisible burnout? Well, there are lots of things that I use in addition to my daily routine and meditation and yoga and movement. I find that nervous system regulation is really essential. And especially as somebody who does intense activities with high adrenaline levels like rock climbing, I have found that vagus nerve resets are one of the simplest ways for me to get out of fight or flight mode and back into a healthy parasympathetic nervous system. So what that looks like is if you're watching YouTube, you can actually see what we're doing. And if you're listening, I'm going to try to give very clear instructions. And if not, you can simply just Google or search on YouTube for vagus nerve reset. And it takes a minute, just a minute to reset our brain chemistry. So what you would do for resetting your vagus nerve is you're going to lie on the floor initially to practice this, or sit up straight ahead. And a lot of times they'll have you support the back of your head, the back of your neck as a starting point. And then you're going to look to the right side and keep your eyes looking to the right for the count of 30 seconds. And as you're looking to the right, you're not moving your eyes around. You're just choosing a fixed point to the right. And you'll kind of notice as you breathe in and out, looking to the right, you might notice that you're yawning, you might sigh, you might get a little more relaxed. You might notice nothing. These are all acceptable things. And once you've reached the 30 seconds, you're going to put your eyes back to center and just kind of reset for a moment. And then you're going to look to the left for 30 seconds, a similar thing. What you want to sense and feel is, I generally feel this need and urge to yawn. I also feel a need and urge to sigh. And I can feel my shoulders relaxing downwards. And I feel myself breathing more easily. Once you're done with 30 seconds to the left, you bring the eyes back to the center. Vagus nerve reset. In modern times, our brain doesn't understand the difference between stressors that could kill us and the stress of an email. And so the brain in protection mode reacts the same way. And it releases all of these hormones and chemicals into our body so we can react to survive. So it's really important when you feel super triggered, stressed out, anxious, and you feel like it doesn't match the scenario you're in, you can quickly do a vagus nerve reset. And the good news is you can do it anywhere, anytime. You don't need anything physically with you to do this. The other thing I want to talk about is redefining success. So for those of us recovering perfectionists, pressure cooker people, where we put so much pressure on ourselves and we have so much expectation on a specific outcome in our business and in our personal life, redefining success can be beautiful. And I recently read this somewhere, either that or listened to it on another podcast, but they were speaking about, what if we redefined success instead of, for example, with rock climbing, sending a route with success, committing ourselves fully to the process, being present, learning from the experience. And success is not about the outcome. It's about the journey. It's about committing yourself fully to the journey and then learning from that experience. I want to say it's from The Rock Warrior Way, the book. I've been reading that and it's really, really powerful. So how about we redefine success? And instead of the outcome, which would be perfectionism, let's redefine success to being committed and present with the journey and learning continuously. That removes so much pressure and it gives you so much more ease and flow and excitement and hopefully less stress and a lot less pressure. I also want to talk about a separate misnomer around healing our shame around rest. And even as I say that, I can feel my body resisting. It's like, ooh, rest. And here's the thing. I have noticed that the longer that I'm in business, the more I allow myself space and capacity for nourishing rest and quiet and ease, the better my thinking is. The better I show up as a business owner, the more creative my thoughts are, the more excited and passionate I am, the better a leader I am. And I'm a stronger visionary and a stronger healer in the world when I allow myself to rest more and to rest better and to not have guilt around it. For some reason, well, in our society, it's not surprising. We have been programmed and trained to think that working more and staying late and overachieving is the ideal outcome in life. It's the so-called American dream. And it puts all this pressure on us to work harder, not smarter, work more in terms of success metrics versus doing activities that give you the outcome in an efficient way where you can also nourish your body, your mind, and your spirit and live a more full, robust, and happy life. So we need to respect and nourish and reprogram our thinking around rest. And honestly, rest reminds me of when we're on the airplane and they're doing the safety check. It's like, put your own oxygen mask on before you do so for someone else. This is how we want to reframe rest. If we're not getting sufficient sleep, we're not resting our minds, we're not resting our bodies, we're overtraining, we're overcommitting, we're overscheduling. How on earth can we expect to do better and to do good for our clients and our employees? The answer is you can't. So my challenge for you today is release productivity guilt, reprogram and reframe your definitions of success and rest, and stop getting burnt out and overwhelmed by becoming aware of your signals for when you're trending in that direction and using the tools we spoke about, the vagus nerve reset, meditation, that list you can check in on, working even with a therapist or a coach. You have this. This is powerful stuff, and it's simple things you can do and you can teach to those you love around you. I hope you found this inspiring. And if you're struggling with this, please, by all means, we open up my calendar every single week for folks who are fans of Inspiration Contagion. Go ahead and grab a time that works for you so we can get you out of overwhelm, out of burnout, and out of perfectionism, and back into the badass self that you are and the healer that you are in this world. I hope you shine bright as a light in the world and don't be shy about reaching out for the support that you need. I'll see you on our next episode.
Thank you for joining the show today. I hope you were inspired. More importantly, I hope you take action. If the show inspired you, I ask that you subscribe and share it with your network. Let's spread inspiration together today.